Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am back, and I have some interesting bit of news. The game that we have been playing, that's partially done already. Um, it is actually not working. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fix it. You, me, and the entire audience that we have, we're gonna fix it together, and I'm gonna show you every step of the way. Let me go through my information here that I have for setup. So 22 point font. Let's pull up a Word document here. Word document. I think it's called Writer here. Um, Office. Yeah, LibreOffice Writer. And so here we go. I am going to be Liberation Serif is what I'm going to be using, I guess, maybe. You know what? Let me go with the recommended. Let me go with the recommended. Um, what? Font awesome. I like that font. Uh, this is just some random thoughts that are going. Um, con something. Uh, I don't have that one in my repertoire. Um, jet some. That's IBM. Could I have set this all up? No. Yes, I could have. But Liberation Mono. There we go. I'm gonna set it to. It says 22 point font. So this is how I'm gonna type my commands out to you guys. I mean, I'm gonna type them here. Actually, you guys aren't gonna see that if I don't switch it to here. No, I need to switch it to scene 2. So, as you can see here, you're seeing the window inside of my window inside of my window, and it's that whole mirror effect. From now on, you guys are gonna see my screen. See here, there's a YouTube page. There's a email, different emails going on. Amazon page. There we go. I'm gonna delete that because why not? Anyway, you guys are gonna see my screen from now on, and I am going to start this by saying I ran some commands before I actually did this video because here's the deal. My capture was not working. It was working for a little while, but then it stopped, and when I tried to do this, it does, and this is something new Linux users need to know. if they're gonna continue to do Linux. Um, so let me show you what it did. Um, we're gonna go to properties because that's how we view this thing. Yes, I want to save them. So here's the deal. When I did this in, I hope you can see this okay. When I did this in Windows, this did not exist. This did not exist. And when you do this, you're actually selecting your monitor and the source that you would like to show. And it's a drop down box, and it starts with a basic 0 kind of thing. And if you don't actually select your display port 1 at the very least, which you can see it won't drop down now because I've already selected it and it won't let me alter. Display port 1 is what I had to choose. And if you don't do that and you choose like display port 0 or something, I think is what it's called, then you end up with huge problems because it shows nothing but a black screen. I did not know this, so my display capture was not correct. Okay, so without further ado, let me show you the problem that I'm having with this game. I'm gonna get it to running really quickly. And this is Mr. Kate's Files Huntsville. That's what I'm actually pulling up. And it'll be real funny if it starts to actually display properly when I actually need it to do what it's been doing all this time. Forgive me, it does take a little bit to pull up. Okay, there we go. It's the windowed mode, right? As you can tell, you cannot see this. Okay? Let me go to my sound because I'm just realizing I input devices. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's the wrong, that's the mic, that's not the output device. There we go. We put it back. Now, you can see sounds playing and everything. We're doing good. Now let's go to the options and click full screen. And that's what full screen does. It's literally, and there's no way to expand it. There's no way to do anything. And if you look, I'm gonna start this really quickly but you can see where I've tried to do it before, and this does not meet with good seeing of everything. Yeah, we have the grapes here, I think. No, grapes are not here. Grapes are, where are they? Anyways, I you see, people say you seem to be doing okay. I would be doing better if I could see the whole thing. See, I'd have found that key in 2 seconds if I... One dinner fork. I think this... Anyway, you see my point. I'm gonna go to the menu, I'm gonna pause it, and I'm gonna close. Because that is not main menu. This is not conducive to actually playing this game. You have to have it on full screen. So, this is what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be trying to get it back into full screen. And I don't know how it will be. But here's how we're gonna do it. Number one, I already gave a whole big bunch of, or I already ran a whole big bunch of commands because this was messed up. I couldn't do for myself. But we're gonna pull this up and I'm gonna type every command that I know to do with the research. And we're going to figure out what specifically is the version of Proton that we have, if we've got it. I think we installed it. I think I installed it last time. And we're going to use... And I'm typing this exactly as my research would show. By the way, these are very case sensitive commands. So autocorrect you need to ignore, okay? If there is something autocorrecty about this, you need to ignore it. In fact, I'd turn autocorrect off if I could. So this is the first command we're going to run. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it. Into it says it's not found. So I'm just going to type in not found. And I'm going to install it. Using the command above, and the command it responded with, by the way, just so you're aware, because you're gonna need to know this. There's gonna be a test at the end of the class. You're gonna need to know this and copy. So here is the command it responded with. Um, we're gonna put response. Um, paste. So this is the response that we got. I am going to .22 font because why not? So I'm going to respond with that. We're going to respond with that right there. By the way, that I am no expert at this. I am literally just researching these, copying the commands, or typing the commands by hand, or doing what I'm supposed to do in the terminal. And you may be able to see the terminal, you may not. And that is why and it shows me how much I have versus how much I don't. Um, you can see it does that big old wall of text. Shows us all the progress. Now we do the same thing that we did before, and that is the Proton Tricks version. Dash dash version, which should bring up something. Okay. It brought up a big wall of text. We now have to run, and I'm going to type it, and then I'm going to copy it and paste it. So you guys can see it. Literally, I'm a complete noob. This is gonna happen this way. So, I'm just finding the commands on the internet, going through a step-by-step guide, and I am just showing you guys what I'm going through. Just to show you how difficult a computer system can be, and also reiterating that I will not be going back to Bill Gates and his ilk anytime soon. So we are running Proton Tricks -1. That is the next step, and this will tell us what programs our thing can see. So Proton Tricks -1, this shows us shows us a lot of information, my friend. I'm not sure how much of this is actually install files how much is actually. So I'm. But of course, you can see that big old wall of text there. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So what I'm gonna do, I think unpacking is. That's unpacking, that's setting up. I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy and paste this to look it up. Because I'm not seeing what I need to see. He says you didn't need to paste the whole command, but I'm gonna paste it just because I don't see what I need to see. It's just gonna be, they're gonna kind of hate me a little bit because I'm gonna paste the whole thing. Okay, I've mistyped the command apparently. Somehow, I typed 1 and it's supposed to be a lowercase l. So that command is completely wrong. By the way, that is what a lowercase l looks like in this particular font. I need to figure out a better font. Let's see if I can do Times New Roman. That would be so much better if it were just Times New Roman. Nope. Let's see if... Nope. I'm going back to this because... But just know that is a 1 or an L, not a 1. A lowercase l. I should have made sure that I can find fonts. Okay, so these are things that my particular program can see. So it does in fact appear. I'm going to go ahead and copy that in our responses. In the response, so we know it exists. And you should not see any personal information, by the way, when I actually do this kind of thing. literally all this is just stuff I've been typing in command wise. So, now we're going to do proton tricks, and it's like this, exactly like this, except for number one, there's an extra dash, which it didn't copy. It didn't copy over because autocorrect. So it needs to be another dot. Secondly, and let me double check this, it will be GUI. Okay, let me double check and make sure that I'm applying it right with my helper. I don't like, I'm not going to say what my helper is. It is not something that I like mentioning that I ever use. I'm sure you can probably guess. But I'm only using it because I'm a noob. And there is no reluctant way to actually have a full-blown source for this, because and the reason for this is Linux is very much it's a puzzle to solve as much as it is a thing to do, because 22, and you can see here this is what it's supposed to be. So we're gonna run it again because I don't know, I really don't. Okay, it brings up a box. Okay, so we're gonna select this, and it's not that there's any shame in using this kind of stuff if we have to. Unknown arc. Yes, I hear you. So the next command on that is apparently okay. So apparently this is something called a snap steam issue. Uh, that's odd. I'm gonna have to paste all of this because it's a big old giant mess of gobbledygook. And I think there's a whole lot of stuff. This is kind of a deep error, I think, more so than normal. Let me tell you what got done with the GUI. Let me actually. I'm gonna show you the response before I email it to myself. That way you know what I'm dealing with. This is literally all of the stuff that popped up. Wine tricks, wine tricks, wine tricks. I am not sure why. So I am going to email that to myself and do a little bit of solid research and okay, so the next one, apparently that gave us some very important information. We're gonna be pasting the follow into our terminal the following command. And hopefully this fixes it, because if not, we're gonna stop here. I have to eat and I have to go kind of in a bit to bed and get things going. So this is going to be part 1 of my saga of fixing this game. But it gave us some information. So this is the next command we're going to have to paste. And this is just a sample. We're copying this and we're going over here. We're going to paste this. and it's going to open what we call a wine configuration. So this is what we got in response. Just to tell you. Just to show you. Big old giant text wall. A lot of these are going to be big old giant text walls. Just letting you know. That's how this works. But you will be able to see the text wall as it is. Basically what's going to happen here is I am going to copy and paste all of these, as well as all of the things that it actually sends me afterward, and they're going in the description, all of them, because that's the way I roll, and that's the way I like it. And if you don't, that's totally up to you. You can choose not to check it out. You can choose not to check Linux out. This is just something that I'm doing in my spare time because why not? And like I said, I'm doing this specifically because I'm a noob and I'm using what I would call noob tools for all of this. And now, this is something that's going to be real easy to do. Snap Connections Steam is literally going to be the next one that we have to press. So, we are running that command right there. gonna be nice if so I'm fixing to have to hit a stopping point after this, and we will call this part 1 of this episode if we don't do this is our response for this, and we're literally just talking to the computer, by the way. That's all we're doing. This is the language of a computer, if you can believe it. The only difference is Windows has a translator app running in the background that they do that sort of thing. So after this particular so this is our response right here, and we're gonna copy. I'm gonna email it to myself. Compose. We're gonna try that again. Paste. And we might have to let that be this. Um, oh, that was an error. we get, so when it's done right, that was an error. That was operator error because this is what we get when it's done right. Here is why we did it wrong, and this is a case of, this is case sensitive. So you had to 22, press that S right there. You can see that's a big old wall of text. I'm going to again type that on 22 so you guys can actually see it. I don't think there's anything super sensitive. Like, the most sensitive thing on here is my username, and without the password y'all ain't getting in there. And I'm not telling you my password. I'm not telling you. You guys can forget that. But I wanted to show you that this was what I got. So now we're gonna email this to myself, replying. We're gonna reply in the response, and that's the big old list of stuff that we're gonna have to bring to, I guess you could say, we're gonna, actually we've got the next command, but we're gonna call it a night. And the reason I say we're gonna call it a night is because we've been at this officially for 1 hour and 5 minutes. And we've done enough tonight, and I will continue this tomorrow. And as always, I'm going to paste a list, or I'm going to start pasting a list of commands that I've done before now and after now, so you can see my journey. And as always, you guys, I am going to say thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe if you haven't. If you learned something, or if you just enjoyed watching me act like a noob, please let me know down below. Let me know some of the things you might want to see in the future. I promise we'll get to some good old-fashioned gaming soon, but for now we had to do a Linux tutorial because I had to make sure things were done. But hopefully tomorrow we can get things up and running. It looks like we've made a little bit of progress, and until then, peace out. Thank you. Bye.